Hi, I'm Robin Birkin, an ex-corporate marketer turned online business owner. I took everything I knew and created a six-figure life coaching business in the margins between nap times and a 9 to 5, and I'm here to share with you how you can do the same. Tune in as I share the raw and unfiltered truths, big lessons, and practical tips to help you build and grow a sustainable bread-winning business online that is both peaceful and profitable. Here, we dive deep into all things online courses, funnels, audience growth, and so much more. If that sounds like the things you want to learn, then welcome to Signature Online Course Secrets. Let's go. Hi, and welcome to the next episode in my little pros and cons series. Today is the last episode of that series. So if you have not caught yesterday and the day before's podcast, those are all going to give you some really good clarity into some of the biggest questions that I get asked and the biggest thoughts that just swirl around in people's minds as they are creating offer suites and launching and selling their products. So if you haven't heard, I'm so certain that you will have by now. Sold Out Signature is happening in literally just a few days. So if you haven't registered yet, head below to the show notes and make sure that you put your name down. Now, if you are like, tell me more about this, what is it all about? What does that look like for me? Go ahead and listen to the day before yesterday when I spoke about memberships versus online courses, because at the start of that episode, I speak to exactly what is happening in the Sold Out Signature Challenge. We are going to put together a beautiful signature offer suite that is scalable, that sells out for your clients, and that helps put together a 12-month roadmap for you of what your business could look like in 12 months. So day before yesterday, I spoke all about exactly how it's going to roll in the 8 trainings. If even just one of those piques your interest, got to come join us and we will give you free access to that. It is not going to be something that we're going to repeat like instantly. This is an event, okay? Now today I am speaking all about business models and offers and what that looks like in your business. This is unexpectedly one of the things that I work on the most with my clients. So I have a lot of clients who, through momentum and hustle and just following divine breadcrumbs into the universe, come to me within the mastermind and my other programs with big offer suites. So you've got low ticket offers here, like you've got all of these $5 and $10 offers, and then you've got a membership, and then you've also got an online course, and then you're also doing one-to-one coaching, and there's this and there's that, or you've got like these in-person workshops that you're doing, and all of a sudden you've come to me and you're like, you've got all of the things, like this kind of soup of offers happening in your business, or you maybe feel like you just can't decide. There's so many different options and business models, and then you keep seeing people online who are like, this is the best, no, this is the best, this is what helped me. And really, I'll be honest with you, any business model can work if you work it. But that said, the women who I work with are a specific type of woman who has specific type of constraints, personality, capacities in their lives and in their business. And so that's why what I teach is just have this beautiful and simple offer suite, this one signature model that amplifies your authority and allows you to work in part-time hours in your business. But how do you discern what is going to work best for you in your business? So I thought I'd dive in a little bit more into kind of the 3 main business model offers that work for people who are service providers, experts in their niche. So maybe you're a naturopath, maybe you're a web designer, maybe you're an SEO expert, whatever that looks like for you. How are you going to decide exactly what that looks like for you? The answer is never like do everything. Do one thing until it's working really, really, really well that matches you and your constraints, and I'll speak about those in a moment, and then really double down on that until everything is really beautifully working. One of the biggest things I see that breaks my heart is business owners who flit from this to this to this to this. Nothing seems to work, nothing ever really gets traction, and the reason is because you are kind of like expecting everything to just work straight off the bat, or you've chosen a business model because you've looked at someone and been like, oh, they have a $4 million business and I want that, but you haven't really looked deeper into what their life looks like, what their business looks like. So here are some of the things that you want to consider. You want to journal or jot down
that are going to help inform the type of business that you run and want to run and that is going to fulfill you. So number one is your energy. Do you have an abundance of energy and time to be able to work in your business? What does that look like for you? Or do you have patchy energy? So for me, I'm a mum of 2 kids. I gladly am the default parent. I want to be at all of the assemblies. I want to do all the things. Also, I stopped working on Fridays a few years ago, and Fridays are not it for me. So I have limited amount of energy. I have patchy energy. Sometimes I can sprint, sometimes I need to rest, and I don't have, a lot of time to be able to spend working directly with clients in done for you services or one-to-one coaching. So I need something that works in part-time hours. Again, also looking at your capacity and in terms of energy, your health as well. So for me, that is capped. Looking at your human design, whether you're into human design or not, I feel like it's always a helpful exercise to have a look at your human design and have a look at your natural tendencies and what it is that you naturally gravitate towards. Do you get bored really easily? Do you hate surface level basic stuff and just want to go deeper all of the time? What does that look like for you? So for me, I'm a projector. What I love is simplicity, going deep on one thing, right? There's all sorts of different things associated with being a projector, but what really works for me is this signature offer model. If you are maybe a manifesting generator, you might want to help a broad range of people, or you might want to experiment with different lead magnets to be able to fulfill different desires. Having a look, and ChatGPT can absolutely help you discern a little bit more about what works for you and your brand. But you might be almost like butting up against something that's just never really going to work for you. What are your strengths and what do you enjoy doing? Are you the type of person that enjoys and gets life force from conversations, deep and meaningful relationships? Or is it for you like the thrill of the chase? Do you love sitting in the data and the numbers? What do you really love? Do you love marketing? Having a look at exactly what that looks like for you, your niche. So if you are in fitness, what you produce is going to be potentially different to someone if you are an offer strategist like me. That might mean not having something that is as deep or potentially having something that is deeper. And then your revenue goals. So looking at all of those things in conjunction with one another, if you're like, I want to make $1 million, but I have a really small audience and I have a really small capacity, then launching a $47 membership, or let's say it's a $37 PDF digital product, is actually probably going to be quite hard for you. You are also probably going to struggle with one-to-one coaching and support in the long term. You'll hit a ceiling if you have only a small amount of hours. So what you probably want, looking at all of those things in conjunction with one another, is a high-ticket group offer, potentially like a mastermind or a group coaching program. So there's sort of 3 main camps. There's low ticket. So there's digital products, there's what's called self-liquidating offers, and there's low ticket memberships. So these are all offers typically that are like $100 or less. Then you have the signature offer framework, which is where you would have this mid-ish ticket offer, $500 to let's say $1,500, a little bit above, maybe a little bit below, depending on different factors in your business, but that's sort of where that's going to sit. Are you feeling maxed out with one-to-one clients or tired of launching offers that never really seem to take off? You don't need more guessing and false starts. What you need is a scalable signature offer that's both simple and sophisticated, and that can actually add 6 figures to your business in the next 12 months. That's exactly what I'll walk you through inside of Sold Out Signature, my free 3-day bootcamp designed to cut the fluff and give you the exact steps to build a revenue stream that actually works. Just head to launcheasylife.com/scalable or come and hang out with me on Instagram at Robin Birkin to grab all the details. It's free, it's live, and it's happening this month. I can't wait to see you there. There's not really many scenarios where I'd recommend having like 10 mid-ticket offers. So you'd have this mid-ish ticket area, and then you would have high ticket, which would be high ticket masterminds or high ticket one-to-one services. What are kind of the things that you might consider within each of those realms? So low ticket usually feels easier. Like initially on your nervous system, you're like, oh my God, like it's $27. It's going to be a no-brainer. My experience of low ticket offers is actually that they are one of the hardest to get working because there is so much iteration that goes into them. You're almost putting in as much work as creating like your signature offer, but then you have to go through and iron out all the kinks with conversion and make sure like you're in the nitty gritty of like this headline gets this result. Let me A/B test against this. So if you're someone who loves data, then that's potentially going to work for you. You're also going to be, if you have a low ticket offer, unless you have an audience of like 50 or 100,000 people, it's not an option. It's essential that you will need to invest in Facebook ads. There might be 0.05% of people on the planet who don't need to run Facebook ads with low ticket products. And for everybody else, that's probably you. You will need to run ads. So you have to be the type of person who, again, likes looking at the data, likes tiny little tweaks to consistently optimize. So looking at that, a few questions. Are you the type of person who would be able to sit in the data and make tiny little tweaks, like 50 tweaks, 50 tweaks to things like headlines, colors, this and that, in order for that to start working? If the answer is, well, no, really, then it's not the right offer for you. Do you have a reasonable / engaged list of followers? And how long are you prepared to wait in order to be making 5 figures a month in revenue? Because you may be waiting quite a while you optimize and grow your audience, and you'll be reinvesting a lot back into ads in the interim while you do that. The plus side is that you don't have really any like human interaction. You don't have to be coaching people, really having conversations. There's not a lot of like in-person sales that has to happen in order to make those sales. There's not a lot of delivery. You just automate pretty much everything that happens in delivery. So if you're incredibly introverted, you're patient, you're prepared to look at data and just granularly make tiny little tweaks to your offer suite, and you love marketing, like you're happy to pump out organic content, then low ticket offers could be something that work for you. The other thing, though, to understand is there's not one offer or one sales page. Like it's not simple. It's actually reasonably complicated because you have a lot of offers inside of your business in order to make them sellable. So you're going to have this one offer or maybe multiple offers on the front end that are quite low ticket, but you're going to have a cascade within that of other offers. So you'll see some people who have, like on Facebook ads, they promote a $7 offer. What that actually looks like is there's a really attractive $7 offer. It runs on Facebook ads. When you go to hit checkout, at the checkout, there's like, a tick box that says, would you like to add this $37 collection of templates to what it is that you want? And you go, yes, I will. And there might be actually multiple ones like that. So they're called a bump offer. So you will have 1 to 3 tick boxes that you will add that are like add to cart, add to cart. It's like when you go to McDonald's, would you like to add fries with that? Would you like to add a drink? Would you like to supersize that? That's what that is, right? Then what you will have, and what we're seeing increasingly, is multiple one-time offers after that. So not just one. What we're seeing at the moment is like multiple one-time offers. So then you'll get to the thank you page, and instead of it being like, thank you, go check your emails, it's actually like, well, hey, would you like this for 50% off? If you navigate away from this page, you don't get it, and you click no thanks. Then the next page says, well, what about this one for 50% off? And you're like, no thanks. I don't know if you've ever ordered Domino's pizza. We ordered it just the other day, and the second that we ordered it, it was like, well, do you want $200 off HelloFresh? And I was like, no, thanks. And I was like, well, what about a box of wine, like a collection of 12 wines for whatever price? And you're like, no, thanks, no, thanks, no, thanks. That's what's also happening. So you might have your initial offer, but what you actually need to do is create a cascade of different bump offers and then a cascade of different one-time offers. So you are potentially going to land with like 5 offers, not to mention that typically the offer that then makes the most revenue is a mid-ish ticket offer anyway. But you're going to have like all of these cascades. So you're going to be sitting in the data. You're going to want to have, like these different problems that you solve within that. And you're potentially going to land with several sales pages in association with that as a low ticket offer. If you have an audience, maybe. If you don't mind having lots of different offers, maybe. If you're so comfortable with data and ads, maybe. And if you are quite an introverted person, like you don't want to talk to people, then a low ticket offer could be for you. Low ticket offers can also work really, really well if you're just someone who doesn't have, like, this is where I sort of sit, is I don't have a lot of calendar time. I have pockets of time here and there, and I have sprint seasons and rest seasons. So for that purpose, you create this offer once and there's really not a lot of delivery. So if you're happy to sit in the sphere of like a lot of marketing, that's where it can work really, really well, particularly Facebook ads. But you have to have faith. In order for Facebook ads to work, you do also need to understand how organic marketing works, which is how just front-facing marketing like Instagram, whatever it is, you have to also understand how that works as well. So if you hate all of that, if you don't know anything about copywriting, that's where it could become a bit difficult for you. So I will then skip to high ticket. So high ticket is what I would say someone needs to get onto a call with you in order to see whether that's the right fit for them. And there will be a lot of people for whom this won't be an offer that is something that they just purchase with a logical decision. It's typically going to be something that has a high level of delivery from you and a high level of results. It might include some one-on-one calendar time with you, even though it might be a group offer. So for example, in my mastermind is about a $10,000 US dollar investment. It includes quarterly one-to-one calls with me. And I stand by that because that helps my clients, helps me stay in touch with my clients, helps maintain them as moving forward. And I'm so committed to delivering a personal level of service for that level of investment. But that is typically an investment, not always, but typically an investment that needs a sales conversation, whether that's in the DMs on Instagram or they book in for a discovery call, or there's just some level of back and forth for someone to check that this is the right decision and right container for them. It will include some level of delivery, like quite a high level of delivery. Can you get hire co-coaches to take a lot of that off your plate? Yes. I would argue in this market though, people who are paying that amount of money are wanting some access to you. So it's going to take time. So if you are dealing with everybody singularly, which maybe that's something that you love doing, in order for you to reach substantial revenue goals or even just meaningful revenue goals, you're probably either going to want to charge quite a significant amount for that. So again, my mastermind, and that's a group offer. That's a $10,000 US dollar investment. I have a friend who is a one-to-one coach and her investment is $40,000 for 1 year. In order to make substantial revenue and, be able to deliver at a high level for a good amount of time, if you are someone who only has 10 hours per week and you are charging just $1,000, you're just not going to have a sustainable or viable business. So if you're like, could never charge that amount, and we don't all start at like those figures, that is after you're established, you get results for your clients and you actually create a program that is exceptional. But if you are only able to charge really low amounts, you can definitely start with those services. But I'm probably not going to recommend it if you can only work part-time hours in your business and you're not willing to have that really premium price for what it is that you do. You need to be able to invest time in delivery and personal services and a really premium high-touch service. You need to prioritize conversations with people. So if you're also the type of person who doesn't want to follow up your leads or have any kind of conversations in the DMs, so I'm not saying you reach out with that spammy, like, oh, hey, what business level are you at? Like cold conversation initiation. No. And those leading questions, we all know what they're like. Even if there's people who I love following online and who I would be friends with in real life, the second they ask me a leading conversation that I know is just going to lean into a pitch, I bounce, like I don't reply. Versus I am definitely in the camp of if I have a warm lead, I will definitely reach out to you and invite you to take the next step with me. And something like 80% of your audience need an invitation in order to join higher ticket experiences that you have. Also, by the way, something like 80% of sales need 4 or more follow-ups. So if you're not prepared to do that, you possibly have a problem. The benefit though is that they need less marketing and less leads. So if you prefer less content, like more depth in what it is that you do, you potentially don't want to invest in Facebook ads and you want to, go deep rather than wide with just a very small number of people, that's where something that is high ticket is going to work really well for you. Around the $3,000 mark for business to business, and probably around the $1,500 to $2,000 mark for business to consumer is at the point at which you start to need those conversations and that nurturing and that long timeline. So the happy middle, or the middle that I love and most of my clients love, because most of my clients are women, they're not adverse to marketing, they're not adverse to Facebook ads, they're not adverse to launches, but what they want is to spend less time in delivery. They have calendars like mine that they don't have 40 hours per week to give, but they still are reasonably ambitious. Like you still have revenue goals. You don't want to have a giant team. You don't mind some marketing. Then that happy medium is going to be to create a signature offer. Your volume is going to be higher than if you just had a $10,000 mastermind and that was all that you did. So absolutely, your offer might be, let's say, $2,000. You're going to need a higher volume of sales, but you're going to need so much significantly less sales than if you had just a digital product. The difference is that what you are going to have is an offer that you have put a lot of time and energy into that delivers a really significant and meaningful transformation in someone's life. So you are going to have this program. It's not going to be like I create it once and then never look at it again. You're going to be constantly wanting to make sure that that is up to date and that your clients are getting a result. But by and large, a lot of the result that you give to people is asynchronous. To my mind, this is the easiest and best offer to have, something that is at the mid-range, but at the higher end of that. And if you have not registered already for Sold Out Signature because you want to see exactly what that looks like and how that looks in terms of the numbers, in terms of your wider offer suite, then definitely look at the show notes. In just a couple of days, we're releasing Sold Out Signature. But if you, like me, have limited calendar capacity, you still have revenue goals and you like to serve people and get big, meaty transformations for people, that's where the signature offer is going to be really supportive. So you're still providing some service and level of delivery, but by and large, the majority of your time is leveraged, except that you are providing a really great and meaty offer. You only need one offer really in order to make significant revenue. But what often our clients will do is on the back end of that, create what I call premium profit drivers, ascension or continuity offers that like they've already had a great transformation within your signature offer. So it's a really easy conversation to then just sell them into a next more premium offer, such as a mastermind or such as one-to-one coaching that you can then charge more for because they already know you're the expert and you're then solving a higher level problem rather than the more basic problem that you would solve in something like a signature offer. If you want to learn more, again, check the show notes below. Join us in Sold Out Signature. I hope you've loved this 3-day series. We have a couple of podcast episodes again happening next week before we go back to our usual once a week programming. I hope that you love this. If you have any other questions about your offer suite, feel free to come and reach out to me on Instagram at Robin Birkin, but mostly come and join us for Sold Out Signature. It's going to be epic. Bye for now.
Another episode on the books. If you'd like to continue the conversation and get more super savable tips, come and find me on Instagram at Robin Birkin. Otherwise, make sure you're subscribed and I can't wait to see you next week.